We have in our studios today the very dynamic, the very versatile, and the very endearing Adil Hussain, whose acting skills have been applauded world over. It is indeed my privilege and pleasure to welcome Adil Hussain to Aaj Savere. Thank you for coming, Adil.
It's absolutely a pleasure. I saw your show and I loved your show, Nidhi. Thank you for inviting me.
If I were to ask you about your many hits, there's so many that it's endless, you know. But I want to talk about Life of Pi first, that won 4 Oscars. So how was it like working with director Ang Lee?
I think Ang Lee is one of the most humble person that I've ever met in my life. He disappears in the sets. If you go to look for the director in a lot of other scenarios in film culture in India, you will always see the director moving around and he is trying to sometimes, you know,
assert himself
or herself. But if you go to look for Ang Lee in the film set, you will have to really look hard to find him. He somehow finds a way to disappear so that other people, those who are his associates, and he chooses his associates very carefully. So he allows them just to flourish, and he becomes. Once I was asked this question, what was it like to work with Ang Lee, and I said that, and I think it is very well said, I'm appreciating myself, forgive me for that, that Ang Lee is a co-musician with an added responsibility of the conductor of the orchestra, and you feel that he's with you sitting here when you are acting. But he's actually sitting with everybody.
In the background, yes.
You know, he's sitting with everybody.
Yes.
He gives equal time and respect to everyone, including the person who is feeding him a cup of tea.
That means these are all the hallmarks of a winner.
Absolutely.
So naturally, the Oscars had to come to Life of Pi.
Yes.
And आपका जो किरदार जो था, हर समय मैंने देखा है कि आप एक नेगेटिव रोल भी बहुत आसानी से कर देते हैं. So and it's very difficult to kind of go for these kind of complex and roles that you kind of do. So आप बिल्कुल डेप्थ में चले जाते हैं. You're full of surprises. So ये आप कैसे कर लेते हैं? I want to explore the mind behind Adil Hussain.
The criminal mind behind me.
Not criminal.
मेरे ख्याल से ये बहुत ही एक लंबी जर्नी है, लेकिन उसको मैं शॉर्ट करके अगर बताऊं, एक बार मेरे बहुत ही करीब के टीचर हैं, तो मैंने उन्होंने मुझे एक रोल दिया था, उसका नाम था मेफिस्टोफिलिस. डॉक्टर फाउस्ट बोल के एक बहुत ही फेमस प्ले है. तो मैं डर गया था, और मेफिस्टोफिलिस इज द डेविल एंड आई वाज कास्ट. तो मैंने कहा, सर मैं तो मतलब खराब हूं, लेकिन इतना खराब भी नहीं हूं कि आप मुझे डेविल बना रहे हो. तो उन्होंने कहा, तो मैं कैसे करूं इसको, आप मुझे थोड़ा सा मदद करेंगे तो बेहतर होगा. तो उन्होंने कहा कि आज से आदिल, तो हम लोग ये जो प्ले कर रहे थे वो हम उड़ीसा के एक छोटा सा गांव में शमशान घाट के नजदीक हमारा कैंप बनाया गया था एनएसडी की तरफ से. जब हम एनएसडी के सेकंड ईयर में थे, तो डायरेक्टर जो है मिस्टर रॉबिन दास, हु जस्ट रिटायर्ड एंड इज वन ऑफ द फाइनेस्ट टीचर्स दैट आई हैव एवर मेट, उन्होंने कहा कि आज से तुम यू try to enjoy cruel things. So I was a bit terrified and मैंने सोचा कि ये किस किस्म का एडवाइस है, उपदेश है. तो कुछ हुआ उस दिन रात को, फिर अगले दिन. So I started doing that, enjoying the cruel things and slowly. लेकिन उसके वजह से जो दिमाग पर मेरे दिमाग में एक सवाल उठा कि मैं अच्छे एक्टर बनने के कोशिश में मैं खराब आदमी ना बन जाऊं. तो वो जो सवाल है वो बहुत ही बड़ा सवाल बन गया था, और काफी साल तक मैं उस सवाल के पीछे पड़ा हुआ था. तो जवाब मिला, और बहुत कहानी है. किताब जब लिखूंगा तो शायद, अगर मैं कभी लिखूं, पता चल जाएगा. लेकिन
जरूर.
तो अभी क्या होता है कि यहां तक पहुंचा मैं अभी कि कोई भी आदमी को, कोई भी कैरेक्टर को, कोई भी जन को, किसी भी क्षेत्र में जो काम करते हैं, जिनको हम जानते हैं बहुत ही खराब आदमी है, ये करप्ट है, वो है, ये मर्डर करते हैं, हिटलर है, तो उसको हम जज नहीं कर सकते. एज एन एक्टर वी कैन नॉट अफोर्ड टू जज एनीबॉडी. वी मे नॉट एग्री विद देम, वी मे नॉट फॉलो द पाथ what they follow, but
tread on.
we don't have the luxury to judge anybody. If we want to play the role of a person who is in the society's eyes, दुर्योधन और दुशासन, हम ये भूल जाते हैं कि दुर्योधन और दुशासन कृष्ण, युधिष्ठिर और भीम से पहले पहुंच गए थे स्वर्ग, महाभारत के लास्ट चैप्टर में। हम भूल जाते हैं वो बात।
वही तो भगवत गीता भी यही हमें सिखाता है कि डोंट जज एनीबॉडी।
जज। सो अगर मैं हिटलर मुझे करना है तो आई कैनॉट बिकम जीसस क्राइस्ट, बट आई वुड ट्राई टू बिकम जीसस क्राइस्ट इन ऑर्डर टू एम्ब्रेस हिटलर। You have to have a heart of Jesus Christ in order to forgive Hitler, in order to play Hitler fully.
Absolutely.
That is the answer.
Lovely, lovely, absolutely. तो मेरा तो ये सवाल है आपसे कि कई बार आप लोग को लोग सीरियसली लेते हैं कि नहीं लेते हैं? कभी कहते होंगे कि भाई ये एक्टिंग ही कर रहा है। It can be up.
Yes.
Even in your house and all, I doubt it. You get into the role, absolutely. So if you're rehearsing your lines and all that, I'm sure people must be wondering whether you're acting or you're actually for real.
But there is no difference.
There is no difference.
कोई डिफरेंस नहीं
Oh my
है।
God.
एक ही डिफरेंस है कि अभी जो आप और हम बात कर रहे हैं, मैं एक्टिंग कर रहा हूँ या सचमुच बात कर रहा हूँ।
अभी तो आप सचमुच बात कर रहे हैं।
हाँ, लेकिन एक्टिंग शब्द या अभिनय शब्द का जो दुरुपयोग है या उसका जो बैड नेम है, बदनाम है कि आप एक्टिंग करते हैं, मतलब आप सचमुच नहीं कर रहे हैं। मेरे ख्याल से उल्टा है कि हम आम जिंदगी में बहुत खराब एक्टिंग करते हैं।
बिल्कुल।
और मैं सबसे ज्यादा सत्य के साथ जीता हूं जब मैं एक्टिंग करता हूं, क्योंकि उस समय एक्टिंग करते समय मेरा कंसंट्रेशन, मेरा अवेयरनेस, मेरा फोकस, अलर्टनेस, अटेंटिवनेस और मेरा पूरा जो प्रेजेंस है इस वक्त यहां मौजूद होना, वो 100% करने की कोशिश करता हूं। आम जिंदगी में वो जरूरत नहीं पड़ती है। आप मुझे पूछ सकते हैं या आप मुझे ग्रीट कर सकते हैं, गुड मॉर्निंग आदिल, आई कैन से गुड मॉर्निंग, but I don't mean it. And you will not complain about it. Because good morning, actually I'm saying don't talk to me now. So, आम जिंदगी में अक्सर हम क्या करते हैं?
The tone and the tenor.
Absolutely. And we can afford to be not in the present.
Yes.
In everyday life. But in the space, in the performance area, you cannot afford to be there.
Cannot.
So I live a fuller life.
Yes.
A truer life in given space or acting जब हम।
We're taking a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll be speaking to film star Adil Hussain about the kind of roles he chooses for his movies.
Lux mein hai.
Welcome back after the break, and we were talking to Adil Hussain about the kind of cinema he loves doing. You've acted with wonderful people all through, but I'd like to talk about Sridevi now first. मतलब उनके जैसा dynamic person तो शायद ही Indian screen पे Bollywood से आया हो. So she added so much life to English when you played her husband, Satish Godbole, a negative character. तो कैसा रहा उनके साथ काम करने का आपका एक्सपीरियंस?
बहुत जब मेरे पास ये रोल पहुंचा या मुझे बोला गया कि
गौरी शिंदे ने,
हाँ आप ही करोगे, तो मुझे लगा कि अरे क्या बात है। क्योंकि बचपन से हम उनको देखते आए हैं, वो 13 साल की उम्र से, उससे भी कम उम्र से शायद वो फिल्म करते आए हैं। तो मैंने कहा कि अच्छी बात है, मजा आ जाएगा। और जब हम पहले दिन जब हम रिहर्सल कर रहे थे, क्या कहते हैं उसको, जो लुक टेस्ट जिसको कहता है कि बाल थोड़ा सा काला रहेगा, सफेद रहेगा, या क्या पहनेंगे हम, तो मैं उनसे मिला और मैंने कहा कि आपका सदमा मैंने देखा और मैंने 2 दिन तक खाना नहीं खाया था। And I think that's one movie
His tonics were amazing.
It's touched me so much. बहुत दिन पहले देखा, अभी नहीं देखा मैंने। तो she was very touched. I saw that, I felt that. And उस दिन से ही जो प्रोफेशनलिज्म है उनके अंदर, ना प्रोफेशनलिज्म आजकल के जमाने में हम मानते हैं जो पैसे लेते हैं वो प्रोफेशनल है, बिल्कुल नहीं। मैं ये कहता हूं कि प्रोफेशनल्स वो हैं जो अपना 100% देते हैं। जब आप काम पैसे मिल रहा है या नहीं मिल रहा है, डजंट मैटर। इफ यू आर हियर टू डू दिस इंटरव्यू, यू आर फुल्ली, यू आर नॉट थिंकिंग अबाउट अच्छा इसके बाद मैं कहाँ जाऊंगा, क्या करूंगा। तो उस किस्म के प्रोफेशनल एक्टर्स के साथ जिन्होंने 300 से ऊपर फिल्मों में काम कर चुके थे, मैं तब शायद ये मेरा चौथा या पांचवा फिल्म था,
इंग्लिश
इंग्लिश। तो मैंने जो देखा, लेकिन काफी थिएटर किया मैंने, इस वजह से कोई परेशानी तो नहीं हुई, नर्वस वगैरह वो सब महसूस नहीं हुआ मुझे। लेकिन उनका जो प्रेजेंस ऑफ माइंड है वो काफी बार मुझे इट थ्रू मी ऑफ।
अच्छा, शी इज दैट गुड,
शी इज सो गुड। And I thought to myself that, oh, I would enjoy this so much
and learn so much from an actor like her.
And she knows how to face the camera so well, because she has done it hundreds of times. So it was amazing working with a person.
But
like
how
she
did you kind of fit into that negative character who's mocking, his wife all the time? And do you think Indian cinema with Gauri Shinde's movie, I think it's a wonderful movie, has come around talking about women empowerment? I mean, just because she doesn't know English doesn't mean you make fun of your wife. And I think it happens in many, many households.
Not only that, Nidhi, you tell me, I grew up in a house with people, my, family and male members of our society.
Speaking Assamese, yes.
Male members of our society, 99% of them, I would say, are patriarchs.
Yes.
They believe that they are the superior species than women. And somehow we feel that women are second-class citizens and they are not to be consulted for anything. There are exceptions. I have seen a lot of exceptions as well. But I'm saying most of us.
Yes. Our mindset is that.
Its mindset is that. They don't know any better.
मम्मी काम करने जाएगी तो भी आके खाना
उनको बनाना है. तो I cannot treat my friends, those who are patriarchs, or family members, those who are patriarchs, those who believe the male is the superior race, as villains, because they don't know any better. So I cannot judge also them. So in order to play the role not as a villain, but as a person who doesn't know any better, so I played it like an ignorant, innocent person. He doesn't know that he is bad, or he's not supposed to be like that. He doesn't know it, and he is doing innocently. मेरी बीवी तो लड्डू बनाने के लिए पैदा हुई. I mean, what a thing to say.
Hilarious, actually, but this is actually the benchmark. That she had to prove herself in the last scene of the movie, where she gives that speech, and you sitting there are absolutely aghast. That expression stayed in the mind of the viewer, and the movie became a hit.
Yes. Absolutely.
So we need more movies like this.
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of famous Bollywood directors should take up subjects which are contemporary, which are relevant, which are burning, and make interesting movies so that people come and watch it as well.
आपने क्या सोचा है कभी डायरेक्शन या प्रोड्यूसर बनने के लिए? सोचा तो होगा?
नहीं, मैंने सोचा है, लेकिन बहुत ही एक छोटा सा स्टोरी है, वो बाद में बताऊंगा आपको. लेकिन डायरेक्टिंग ए फिल्म इज ए मोनुमेंटल जॉब. आपके अंदर वो अगर इनर कॉलिंग नहीं है तो मेरे ख्याल से नहीं जाना चाहिए उस दिशा में, क्योंकि इतने सारे काम होते हैं. मैं तो हर एक डायरेक्टर को यही पूछता हूं पहली बार सबको कि आर यू श्योर यू वांट टू डू दिस प्रोजेक्ट, बिकॉज लॉट ऑफ वर्क. यू हैव टू फर्स्ट कंसीव द स्टोरी. You have to ask the writers or conceive the story. You have to think. You have to deal with actors' dates, actors' egos. Then you have to find
egos is a big thing.
Big things, and then you have to get into this room where you have to edit the entire film. It takes months. Music, re-recording, then post-production finishes, and after that you have to find a buyer. I don't think I have the patience to it.
You've also co-starred with Vidya Balan in Ishqiya.
जी.
तो उनके साथ कैसा रहा आपका एक्सपीरियंस?
I think I keep saying this, and it is always true, that she is the warmest co-actor amongst a lot of co-actors that I met. And
she's still in touch with you?
Yes, she is. And I was touched when she got married and she sent some sweets to Delhi by post. It was a very touching gesture, and I really like her as a person, and she's an amazing actress as well. Enjoyed working with her from the day one, not day one, from the minute one. We clicked. We started laughing and we did the scene.
Because you two are quite similar. I mean, you go into the depth of the role and then you take it apart. After that,
it happens.
It's the role, it's the person, the mind, the person.
Yes.
And that's it.
Yes.
And the audience.
Yes.
So it's so wonderful.
It should be that.
And what about Tabu? She's another fantastic actress you worked with.
She is, I think, one of India's finest actresses, and I enjoyed again. And she's very much, it's like next door woman who knows you as if she knows you. And since I have seen her movies, उनका बहुत सारे फिल्में मैंने देखा उनसे काम करने से पहले, तो आपको लगता है कि इनको जानते हैं हम, ऐसे होता है ना कि आपने किसी का फिल्म देखा और आपको लगता है इनको जानते हैं. So I had the feeling already, but she also made me feel that she knows me. And we had a great time talking. We roamed around in Taiwan when we shot Life of Pi. We used to shoot 5 days a week. And we roamed around in the night and went to the markets and all that. Her mother made me, cooked for me lovely biryani. She's wonderful, wonderful person.
आपने Z+ के बारे में अब हमें बताइए, आप हमारे व्यूअर्स को बताइए. You worked with Mona Singh, the famous TV star.
Yes.
And what was so different about Z+?
I think it's one movie which had been made in India, though it was released not well, so people didn't get to watch it, but it's on television, I guess, no? It's a movie which is a take on a common person, which, if you have seen it, it's a person is a puncher wala, who gets a Z+ security cover by mistake, by the Prime Minister of India. And what happens to his life.
So interesting.
It's a very interesting story written by Mr. Ram Kumar, who lives in, it's almost based on inspired by a true story. It didn't go to Z+ security cover. And it's a movie which really deals with this common man and there is a song as well, जो स्खलन होता है ना, जो गिरते हैं अपने अच्छेपन से, जब गिरते हैं पावर आने के बाद थोड़ा बहुत गिरते हैं, फिर संभल जाते हैं और आते आते संभल जाते हैं. और कभी कुछ लोग होते हैं जो संभल नहीं पाते, तो उसके ऊपर स्टोरी है. एंड मोना सिंह, शी प्लेड माय वाइफ, एंड शी इज another actress, an amazing actress,
good human being,
and a wonderful person.
We're taking a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll be speaking to film star Adil Hussain. Welcome back after the break, and we were talking to Adil Hussain. अब आप रीजनल सिनेमा भी बहुत कर रहे हैं, तमिल सिनेमा आप बहुत कर रहे हैं, तो उसके बारे में आप बताइए. याचन करके एक मूवी आप कर रहे हैं,
वो रिलीज भी हो गया. तमिल फिल्म, that is my first Tamil film. I also do a lot of Assamese films, Bengali films, not lot. I have done 2 Bengali films जो रिलीज हुए हैं और एक अभी तक रिलीज हुआ नहीं. तमिल फिल्म बहुत अच्छे स्टोरीज लेके आते हैं वो लोग कर क्या रहे हैं कि विष्णुवर्धन डायरेक्टर हैं, तो वो लोग करते क्या है कि वो लोग नॉवेलिस्ट्स को स्क्रिप्ट लिखने देते हैं, स्टोरी लिखने देते हैं. उसके बाद डायरेक्टर और नॉवेलिस्ट जो राइटर हैं वो मिलके स्क्रीन प्ले बनाते हैं और डायलॉग्स लिखते हैं. तो और विष्णु जी ने मुझे बताया कि वो तमिल ऑडियंस अभी इतना एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं फिल्म मेकर से कि हर एक 15 मिनट में एक ट्विस्ट होनी चाहिए, कि अरे सरप्राइजेस होनी चाहिए, नहीं तो देखते नहीं है फिल्म.
ओह माय गॉड.
तो ऐसा है. तो इस वजह से उनके ऊपर काम ज्यादा आ गया, मतलब काम हार्ड वर्क करने का.
सस्पेंस हर मोड पे करना मुश्किल, सस्पेंस
हो जैसे भी हो, कि सरप्राइजेस होनी चाहिए, कि अच्छा अरे हमने तो ऐसा सोचा ही नहीं था. तो इस किस्म के राइटिंग्स या फिल्में तमिल ऑडियंस देखने के लिए उत्सुक है, और इस वजह से उनके राइटिंग्स में काफी बदलाव आया है, जो शायद बॉलीवुड में नहीं आया है अभी तक, और जो होनी चाहिए मेरे ख्याल से.
आप अपना एनएसटी के बारे में बताइए, एक्सपीरियंस कैसा है, बिकॉज यू आर अ विजिटिंग फैकल्टी इन नेशनल स्कूल ऑफ ड्रामा, विच इज अगेन सो प्रेस्टिजियस. तो कैसे सिखाते हैं वहां, आपने कैसे सीखा, पहले ये बताइए.
मेरे नसीब में बहुत अच्छे टीचर्स थे. मैं कहना चाहूंगा, पहले दिन पहला सेशन जो हुआ था, खालिद तैयब जी साहब हैं, जो दिल्ली में रहते हैं और बहुत अच्छे एक्टर हैं, खुद थिएटर करते हैं, लेकिन बहुत कम करते हैं थिएटर, तो लोग नहीं जानते उनके बारे में. बैरी जॉन, जो बहुत ही अच्छे टीचर रहे, और रॉबिन दास, जिनके बारे में मैंने बताया. उसके बाद अनामिका हक सर, जिन्होंने बहुत मेहनत करके स्टूडेंट्स को सिखाने के लिए कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. रात को 2 बजे आते थे कभी हमको सिखाने के लिए. अर्जुन रैना, जो हमें वॉइस पढ़ाते थे, सिखाते थे. और सुबह 6 बजे पहुंच जाते थे मेरे लिए एक्स्ट्रा क्लास करने के लिए, या कोई भी बुलाए उनको। उसके बाद निभा जोशी मैम जो अभी नहीं रहे, इंडियन नांदनिक तत्व सिखाते थे हमें, एस्थेटिक्स। तो काफी सारे, नसीरुद्दीन शाह जो हमें मॉडर्न एक्टिंग स्टेनिस्लेवस्किन सिस्टम सिखाते थे, वो उसकी खास एक चैप्टर है जो एक्शन प्रॉब्लम है, उसको सिखाते थे। उसके बाद मेरे एक टीचर हैं जो पौंडीचेरी में रहते हैं, उनका नाम लेना मना है उनके तरफ से, तो मैं नहीं ले रहा हूं, लेकिन उनके प्रति मेरा ग्रेटिट्यूड, मेरा आभार।
Adil, if I can ask you to share some techniques which you are taught in NSD or some kind of an experience, for the benefit of our viewers.
These are very technical things, but
simple things.
Yes, I think the most important, and I would say the fundamental quality that actor could have the most, or rather one of the most fundamental, would be his or her inner quietude, inner stability.
Silence inside.
Silence within. Which can be cultivated and which needs the hardest work, because that's the most difficult thing to do. Then power of observation. Now when I say power of observation, I'm not saying like a scientist to look through the microscope, but from the point of view of embodying and deep empathy that you should have for the other, in order to embody the other and to feel the other person, instead of judging the other person. Like, what is he doing? These are all external observation. But to be able to completely become the other, you need to practice deep empathy. Now, how can that be taught? So there are hundreds of exercises. But first requirement is to be quiet. To be quiet is the way to get into anything. You can go into organic, complex organism like a human being, or organic or inorganic material. You can
a wall,
embody
anything.
a wall,
yes,
or a bird, or animals,
a tree, anything.
A tree or a flower or the sky or everything, or the wind or the fire or the water. So we practice that not in NSD, but later when I was taught by Mr. Khalid Tayyabji, we practiced for hours and hours and months. And then I started also teaching, and I did a residency program for 3.5 years in the River Island in Hampi, where we practiced that for months and months, years, just to embody. And rest of the things are easy. Those are technical drills, like in terms of your clarity of speech, in terms of your how to stand and how to all those things are. But to understand this instrument, which is the Rishi Muni, they have found it difficult to really find out how it works. All the scientists so far have failed to really understand how
the human mind
and human psyche and the
why we live and why we die.
All those questions are philosophical, but even just to understand physically how it works, how the emotions works, where the buttons of the emotions are. And Natya Shastra had come up with a lot of answers, and the practitioners of traditional practitioners of Kudiyattam, they have mastered the craft, quite a lot of them, how emotions work, how you should breathe, and each breath that you take influences your emotion. So how breath of fear, breath of anger, breath of surprise, breath of quietude, the breath of love, and all that had been already explored to the highest point. To the point that I heard, it's a story, I haven't met him personally, Amanur Chakia. It is said that he used to actually die on the stage while he was playing the role of Hanuman, when he was killed as Bali or Sugriv, that his pulse would not be found for at least 3 to 4 minutes. That he knew how to do the breath of dying.
Oh my God.
So to that extent, acting had been so-called, not the untrue acting, but the acting had been explored in Indian tradition. And we need to re-establish those practices in the national schools, like in FTI, or in how you can imbibe those qualities and learn from the great masters. Of course, modern acting theories like Stanislavski, they are extremely helpful for realistic acting. but to support, not only support, but to have the fundamental understanding of how this works, this body works, and how emotions work. I think Indian tradition would be the best way to go.
So on that wonderful, wonderful note, I'd like to end our interview today. And I'd like to wish you many more riveting performances, Adil, many more awards and many more victories to you. And I'd like to thank you from the entire team of DD National
Thank you.
for having come here today and graced us with your presence. Thank you so much.